Every year, thousands of Americans pack up everything and move to a new state, chasing lower costs, better weather, or a fresh start. 6 months later, many wish they never left. These 10 states look incredible on paper, but hit completely different once you're actually living there. In the 10th place, Idaho lures newcomers with the image of wide-open spaces and affordable living. But the numbers tell a different story. Boise's median home price has soared more than 50% since 2020, now landing just above $525,000, on par with mid-tier California cities. The first winter often delivers a shock. Average utility bills hit $210 a month, driven by heating costs that outpace expectations. Property taxes, while lower than the national average at 0.71%, still climb steeply as home values rise. Many recent arrivals also report feeling out of step with the area's conservative culture and limited nightlife or amenities. Within 6 months, the cheap West promise often gives way to budget strain and a sense of isolation that marketing never mentioned. Number 9. Nevada's pitch is simple. No state income tax, sun-drenched days, and the promise of an easy financial reset. But the reality of a desert summer hits hard and fast. For many, the first shock comes with the power bill. $400 to $600 a month is now common in Las Vegas, thanks to relentless air conditioning and NV Energy's time-of-use demand charges that punish peak-hour usage. Even with a low property tax rate near 0.68%, these utility spikes wipe out any tax savings. The job market feels just as volatile. Tourism drives more than a quarter of local employment, so work is often seasonal or unstable. Newcomers describe a transient community where neighbors come and go with the convention crowds. One recent arrival said they moved for the tax break, but their electric bill is now higher than their mortgage. For many, the low tax promise quickly dissolves in the face of brutal utility costs and a job landscape that never quite settles. In 8th place, Oregon's green promise often fades behind a curtain of gray. The state's lush forests and eco-friendly reputation draw thousands each year, but the reality of 150 or more rainy, overcast days, about 42% of the calendar year, can wear down even the most optimistic newcomer. Portland's median home price now hovers around $495,000, and the top state income tax rate climbs to 9.9%, erasing much of the perceived affordability. The challenge isn't just the weather or the cost. Many recent arrivals describe a sharp mood shift as the months of drizzle set in, compounded by visible homelessness and rising concerns about urban crime. For those expecting a vibrant, green paradise, the day-to-day grind of gray skies and steep taxes often leads to regret by the end of the first winter. Anyone considering the move is wise to visit during the rainiest months and factor in both the climate and the tax bill. Number 7. Washington's tech-fueled promise draws thousands with the lure of high salaries and scenic surroundings. Yet for many newcomers, the sticker shock sets in fast. Seattle's median home price now hovers around $820,000, pushing the city into the same affordability crisis as San Francisco. Even with a top-tier tech paycheck, nearly a third of income can vanish into housing costs alone. The city's traffic ranks among the nation's worst, with the average driver losing 75 hours a year to congestion. Add to this a 9-month stretch of gray, drizzly days, a climate reality that wears down even the most enthusiastic transplants. The work-life balance that once defined the Pacific Northwest now feels out of reach for many. For anyone considering a move, it is worth spending a week in February and mapping out a realistic budget before making the leap. Number 6. Colorado draws thousands with the promise of bluebird skies, endless trails, and a laid-back mountain lifestyle. But for many, the reality sets in quickly. Denver's median home price now sits near $580,000, triple what it was a decade ago, and a far cry from the affordable Rockies many imagined. Each summer, wildfire smoke drifts in from the western slope, triggering multiple air quality alerts and forcing families indoors for days at a time. The outdoor dream is further tested by gridlock. Traffic on Interstate 25 and Interstate 70 can add 2 hours or more to a weekend ski trip, turning what should be a quick escape into a test of patience. The altitude itself can be a shock, with some newcomers reporting headaches and fatigue that linger for weeks. Insurance bills often outpace property taxes, especially after a season of heavy smoke. For anyone considering a move, it pays to calculate the true cost, including the price of clean air and lost weekends, before chasing the Colorado dream. Number 5. Hawaii draws people in with the promise of paradise, endless beaches, gentle breezes, and a slower pace of life. But the reality of living on Oahu quickly reveals a cost structure that rivals the most expensive mainland metros. The median home price now sits around $820,000, outpacing most of the country and putting ownership out of reach for many newcomers. Everyday essentials come with a premium. Groceries and gas run 30 to 50% higher than the national average, thanks to the cost of shipping nearly everything to the islands. A typical grocery bill that might be $100 on the mainland can easily top $150 here, and filling up the tank is just as sobering. The sense of isolation sets in fast. Flights to the West Coast often exceed $500 round trip, making visits to family or affordable getaways a challenge. Job opportunities are limited, especially outside tourism and service roles, and wages often lag behind the high cost of living. For many, the emotional toll of island isolation combines with sticker shock, turning the paradise fantasy into a 6-month reality check. Anyone considering a move is wise to budget for the true cost of island life and to visit for an extended stay before making it permanent. California still sells the dream of boundless opportunity, with tech jobs, creative industries, and year-round sunshine. But for many newcomers, the cost of entry is staggering. In Los Angeles and San Francisco, median home prices now top $1.2 million, with the statewide median above $800,000. Even high earners find that a 13.3% top income tax rate, plus local sales and property taxes, can erase much of their paycheck. For those who manage to buy, wildfire and drought risks drive insurance premiums to $2,200 a year or more in high-risk zones, with some carriers leaving the market entirely. Water bills spike during drought seasons, and mandatory restrictions are now part of daily life across much of the state. Add to this the visible strain of congestion and homelessness in major metros, and the California promise can quickly feel out of reach. Experts warn that the price-to-income gap now stretches to 9.5 to 1 in some regions, forcing households to spend well over 30% of income on housing alone. For anyone considering a move, it is vital to run a full budget, including taxes, insurance, and utilities, and to visit during wildfire season before making a decision. Coming to the top 3, Arizona's Sunbelt promise often unravels with the first summer. Phoenix now averages more than 20 days a year at or above 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and the relentless heat does not just test comfort, it drains wallets. Air conditioning runs around the clock, driving average summer electricity bills to about $400 a month, a figure that can easily climb higher during peak demand. The car-dependent sprawl of Greater Phoenix and Tucson compounds the problem, trapping heat in endless stretches of pavement and making even short errands a health risk. But the bigger shock for many new arrivals comes with water. In 2023, a federal ruling cut Arizona's Colorado River allocation by 15%, triggering statewide conservation campaigns and raising fears about long-term water security. Some neighborhoods have already seen new construction permits denied over water supply concerns. For families drawn by affordable homes and low taxes, the reality of extreme heat and shrinking water resources often forces a hard budget recalculation. Experts recommend scheduling moves for the hottest months and testing your utility and water budget before committing. The Arizona dream can quickly feel unsustainable when the cost of staying cool and hydrated rivals the mortgage. Number 2. Texas draws crowds with the promise of no state income tax and a booming job market. But the math behind the move often surprises new arrivals. Property taxes here run between 1.6% and 2.5%, among the highest rates in the country. For a median-priced home in Dallas-Fort Worth, around $380,000, that means an annual tax bill of $6,000 to $9,000, sometimes more than what many paid in income tax back home. Homeowners insurance adds another layer of shock, especially along the Gulf Coast, where premiums now average around $2,200 per year and are climbing fast as storms and hail claims rise. The 2021 ERCOT grid failure lingers in memory, exposing the state's vulnerability to extreme weather and leaving many to wonder if the infrastructure can keep pace with rapid growth. Big city traffic in Houston, Dallas, and Austin regularly ranks among the worst in the nation, eroding the quality of life edge many sought. For families banking on tax savings, these recurring costs can quickly erase any initial advantage. Anyone considering Texas should run a full budget covering property tax, insurance, utilities, and emergency prep before counting on the state's tax-free reputation. And finally, in first place, Florida promises endless sunshine, no state income tax, and year-round beaches, a magnet for anyone seeking a fresh start. But the reality for many new arrivals is a financial and emotional jolt that sets in fast. Since 2022, 15 major insurers have pulled out of the state, leaving homeowners scrambling for coverage and driving average premiums past $6,000 a year, triple the national average. The exodus of insurers has created a capacity crunch, forcing those who remain to hike rates sharply, often making homeownership feel out of reach within months of moving. The long hurricane season, stretching from June through November, brings a constant undercurrent of anxiety. Even a single major storm, like Hurricane Idaho in 2023, can cause premiums to spike and policies to be canceled overnight. The relentless humidity and heat, combined with crowded roads packed with tourists, add a daily grind that few anticipate. For many, the dream of easy living in the Sunshine State is quickly overshadowed by the harsh math of insurance bills, storm risk, and lifestyle friction. Anyone considering a move is wise to pressure test their budget for worst-case premiums and visit during hurricane season before making the leap. Across all 10 states, the same pattern emerges. Glossy promises lure newcomers, but hidden costs, weather extremes, and lifestyle shocks turn excitement into regret fast. Moving isn't just about stats, it's about fit. In today's America, research is survival. Drop your relocation stories or questions in the comments below.